in the absence of experience and years of experience, some investors are often quick to jump at, quick tricks that they can draw on to spot these types of opportunities in the wild, if you like. So, for example, one thing I've asked short sellers in the past, is there any, problematic areas that you focus on when you're looking at these businesses from a short point of view? For example, I'm talking about like cash conversion, revenue recognition. Are there any particular things over your time in the market that you've honed in on, you've said, okay, typically that's where I find a lot of problems?
I mean, it probably comes back to what we've been talking about with balance sheets and earnings risk. It's been a really lucrative area for us. There's a lot of different signals that you can look for, and cash conversion is a real big one. Although I think we've kind of talked about that and how that impacts your balance sheet. But often there's a lot of subtle signs going on as well, and so we're not necessarily there thinking purely about the maths. Like we like to think of ourselves as pragmatic. We're not zealots and just and purely focused on the numbers. We're practitioners, so we want to sort of understand what the other guy's thinking. So how management make money, or what management are up to. So the specific transactions in the market where a company might go out and make an acquisition, and you think, how does this make? That's a bit of a deviation from strategy. It doesn't really make sense to me. Why are they doing this? And there's quite a few examples in the market where the real answer is because your core business was stuffed, and they thought, we have a big earnings hole. There's a bit of an issue with our existing asset or whatever it is. We don't want to come out to the market and say earnings are going backwards. So instead, let's go buy some earnings. They'll put together a presentation, pitch it to investors, say, hey, look how much earnings accretion there is with this deal. People will get very excited. But what's actually happened is they've gone and expanded their balance sheet to buy those incremental earnings. And if they're really good as a management team, they'll be able to sell the dream so that the multiple goes up and you don't get a derating in the share price. So we're often looking beyond what the numbers are telling us and looking towards what subtle clues management are giving us with their behaviour as to what they're thinking and what they're telling us about their existing business. I mean, another just classic example would be when companies say, when they start coming out and saying, just to let you know, most of our earnings are going to come in the second half this year. And then you've got to sit there and go, why? Okay, well, they've given me a bunch of reasons, but I really shouldn't be stopping at just those reasons. One thing we find in the market is good news tends to be released quickly, and slow news tends to be released quite... not slow news, but bad news tends to be released quite slowly. So people are naturally optimistic, and they might say internally, look, we're running behind our budget. We don't think we're going to hit this earnings number for the half. But hey, if this goes right, if this goes right, we're still going to get there. It's just more of it's going to come in the second half. So you can see how that works internally. And the last thing a management team wants to do is come out to the market and say, look, we've downgraded our earnings for this half, and then later find that they've done something well and have to upgrade later. So that bad news tends to move slowly. But what happens if things don't change? And typically there's a bit of earnings momentum in businesses where whatever's going wrong at that point in time, it's pretty optimistic to think that just turns on a dime. Generally, operating conditions take a bit of time to turn around. So if anything, things will be flat to worse in a scenario like that. And so that's just another example of a clue to look for to find out what's happening internally.